What inspired you to adopt a plant-based lifestyle, and how has that influenced your practice as a doctor?
Oh my. Well, that would take up the rest of the hour. I grew up eating the standard American diet till in my mid-30s. I claim no special insight or knowledge to this. But when I was 34, I got two messages from the universe that said I should adopt a plant-based diet. One came from the operating room. I was a resident, a second-year resident in anesthesiology at Vancouver General Hospital, and I found myself on the cardiovascular anesthesia service. And day after day, I'm putting patients to sleep and watching surgeons open their chest and open their coronary arteries and pull this yellow, greasy guck out of their arteries. We call atherosclerosis. There was already evidence in the medical journals. This is largely the fat and cholesterol of the animals these people are eating. So I was getting a message to change my diet to a more plant-based one, especially because my dad died of clogged arteries. I know I've got those genes, and realized, Klaper, before it's your body on that operating table with that striker saw going up your sternum, you ought to get on the plant-based train because there are articles in the medical journals showing that this is a reversible disease. You can melt away the plaques in the arteries with a diet of whole plant foods. So my left brain was telling me to go plant-based. And then at the same time, I was on my own spiritual journey, if you will, to rid my life as much as possible out of violence. I spent a lot of time in medical school in the trauma unit at Cook County Hospital in Chicago, and I saw the worst of what people do to each other, and I vowed to get the violence out of my own life, and so I was reading the Indian saints and Mahatma Gandhi and Satchidananda about living a life of ahimsa, of nonviolence. And one night in Vancouver, I'm out with another anesthesia resident, and I was pontificating about living a life of nonviolence while polishing off a porterhouse steak at the local cake and cleaver. And my friend looked at me with great compassion and said, "That's all very nice, Michael, but if you want to really get rid of the violence in your life, you might want to start with that piece of meat on your plate, because in satisfying your desire for the taste of flesh in your mouth, which is really what this is about, you are paying for the death of the animal and for the next one in line at the slaughterhouse." And when he said that, in my mind, all the old rationales, that's what they raised them for, and the animal's dead already. Before I could get the words out, that little voice on my shoulder said, he's right. He's right. And I'm paying for this violence. Well, between what I knew in the operating room about my own arteries and what I felt in my heart, because I love the animals, I don't want to pay for their death. I knew that was the end of my meat eating. Well, my body loved it. I changed to a plant-based diet, and within 12 weeks, a 20-pound spare tire of fat melted off my waist. My high cholesterol went to normal. My high blood pressure went to normal. I felt great waking up in a nice, lean body. At that point, there's no going back. So I realized not only what I should be eating, but I realized I didn't want to be an anesthesiologist and spend the rest of my career literally putting people to sleep. I'd rather go back to general practice and help them wake up, right? And so I did. And, found a plant-based dietitian near where I was living, referred my patients to them, and they gave me plant-based cooking lessons. And my patients lost weight, they lost their diabetes, lost their high blood pressure. And at this point, there's no going back. I'm the happiest doctor I know because my patients get healthy. And so that was 35 years ago, and it's been a great medical career ever since. And as I said, I wake up with a big smile on my face, and at the end of my day, I go home and say yes, because of the people I know who are now going to help themselves. And this is a form of practicing that blessed kind of medicine, because it's a matter of education, and that's really what you're doing, Gene, with this wonderful program. So it's all about healing, and that's how I got to be in this stage of my healing journey.